What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Guess,
And the midget.
and welcome back to Chaotic Minds. Uh, well, this week has been kind of refreshing, actually. If you, for me at least, I went ahead and took a vacation after 4 years. 4 years, my first vacation, and
I still try to tell him he needs a vacation from his vacation.
yeah, it was nice. It was nice having a vacation for like the first 2 3 days, and then I got really bored really quick, even with the new Destiny uh
Destiny drop.
expansion that they put out. Uh, but I mean, it just yeah, I got really bored. My ADD kicked in something fierce.
And after 3 or 4 days, it gets kind of like, why are you here?
Hey, Brian, what do we want to do today?
Right? Like,
I
there's
can't do
only
Pinky's voice. I wish I
there's
could.
only so much uh dealing with your significant other that you can handle. I love him to death, but sometimes when he's home for extended periods of time, just like when I'm home extended periods of time with him, it's just like, go away.
Mm. So I've had some things on my mind this past week. I have some theories.
It could be funny.
I set you up for that. No, I have some thoughts on theories of the conspiratorial kind. I don't know if that's actually the word for it, but
Really? Conspiracy theories?
yes. Shut up. I happen to enjoy a decent conspiracy theory.
Hold up. Let's go get our aluminum foil hats
I don't do
so that
that.
the government can't scan our brain thoughts.
That one is actually the most retarded one I most ass backwards one I've ever heard. Uh
That ties into another category too, urban legends, because they say aliens when they come to Earth, they do that too. So we
let's
should all
let's
walk
let's
around in
let's let's
aluminum
de-
hats.
let's take apart the first one and then we can go on to that second part, okay? I enjoy, believe it or not, I actually enjoy a decent conspiracy theory. Like, keyword there is decent,
There was a second shooter on the grassy knoll. I don't care what anybody says. Suck it.
but I enjoy ones that are well thought out, well put together, and there's at least some form of evidence with it. Like, I enjoy those ones.
There's a funny one that I'm going to talk about today, and it has to do with the moon landing.
What?
So,
Well, what is it?
uh, that there's a conspiracy theory saying that the government made up space travel to the moon because something tragic happened and they didn't make it there. So they filmed it as if they were doing the moon landing in the middle of Utah in the desert, and or in Nevada in the desert, somewhere in, one of those crazy people towns. And that
Crazy people
everything
towns.
everything everything about the moon landing was made up. And I'm sitting here like, maybe you should talk to the two people who actually walked on the moon. Just saying.
Well, I mean, Adam Ruins Everything actually did a episode on the moon landing being a hoax. Um, and he brought up some really good points. In order for them to have done that, they would have needed technology that we have today back in the whenever Apollo 11 actually happened. And at that point, they had no idea at all on how to do that.
That's the thing. They had the technology.
No,
They
no, 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 no,
just
no, no,
didn't
no, 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 no.
update
No. In order for them
the
to have
understanding.
mimicked the
Oh,
moon
to
landing,
mimic the moon landing.
Yeah,
Okay.
to fake it.
Okay.
They
I
would
thought you were
have
talking about actually landing on the moon. I was
no,
like,
no, no. No, in order for them to have faked the moon landing and the first walk on the moon, they would have needed
technology that we didn't have till recently, more
yeah,
recently.
and even some that we still don't have.
Like, seriously, guys,
Easy.
July 20th, I believe it was July 20th, 1969. I
Motherfucker.
know it was 1969 because my mom talked about it when I was a kid. She said that they watched the moon landing on TV, and it was the weirdest 2 hours of her life because she was born in 62, so she was only 7 years old, and they were doing a space unit in school. And she said it was the weirdest thing in the world because they turned around and you could see the view of the earth from the moon.
If that is the case and they landed on July 20th, 1969, my dad wasn't even born at that point.
I love you, Mom. You're old.
um, but no, like another piece of evidence is we left plates up there on the moon
There's also a
that we
flag up there.
that we can shine a laser toward to get some sort of positioning or whatever. I don't know what the purpose is. I know it is a reflective plate that scientists use to shoot lasers up to the moon.
I mean, come on, guys. It's not it. It can't be too far fetched when we have a rover on the moon that had another rover sent up when its batteries died
No, no,
to
no, no,
replace
no,
the
no, no,
batteries.
no. You're thinking
Or
Curiosity,
Curiosity,
and
Mars,
that's on Mars.
Mars. Yeah, Mars, Moon.
Well, we fell in love with Curiosity, which is why we sent another robot up there with a battery pack. It actually Curiosity actually sang "Happy Birthday" to itself on Mars on its birthday, which made everybody like, "No!" And then we fell in love with it, kind of like people that fall in love with their Roomba and they consider it a pet.
Yeah, we're not even going to talk about that.
But I enjoy a good one, like one that actually has thought to it that can be discussed. The ones I hate are those baseless ones that have no sort of proof. They don't have any sort of proof that they do have is easily debunked,
Flat Earthers.
or it's so ass backwards and out there that it makes no god blessed sense. And anytime that you try to argue a point against it, the person who believes in the theory gets so defensive immediately that they refuse to have an open discussion. Kind of like that guy, the yada yada changed my mind guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm open for conversation. If you have an opinion about something that I have an opinion on, let's sit down. We'll talk. We'll sit there and we'll have a conversation. We'll go back and forth. You say your point, I'll say my point. We'll both try to debunk the other point. Like, that's all well and good. I hate the people who are all like, you better listen to what I have to say, otherwise you're wrong, and your opinion is wrong, and your grandpappy was wrong, and your grandmammy was wrong, and anybody down your family line is wrong and an idiot. Like, okay, your family line goes in a circle. Shut the hell up. But no, like decent ones, like the moon landing. That is a decent one. For me at least, uh, the hollow Earth theory
The
is a
JFK
decent one. The
assassination.
JFK is an excellent one. Has
There are
an
so many
excellent conspiracy
theories.
theories. My personal one, it was set up and done by the mafia because JFK was actually shutting down mafia, and the CIA, who was using the mafia, and the mafia went ahead and was like, nope.
Which is partially true because, yeah, reasons, family, yeah. We won't go to that one. No, but like the JFK assassination has to be my favorite conspiracy theory because there are so many different varieties of that, of the reasoning and the thought process of the assassination. And it's like, dude, there was more than one shooter. You know, there was more than one shooter. Like if they re-examined all the evidence today, I can guarantee you that they will find that there was a second shooter because of the directionality and the positioning of the bullets. There was two bullets fired. They were supposed to be rang out at the same time.
Was there any evidence though of a second? Like, did anybody hear two gunshots, or they just hear
Yep,
one and it echoed?
they heard two because you could hear the first one, it'd crack off an echo, and then they heard a second one. But they know the second one is the one that hit the president.
Yeah. Well, where the first one hit then?
They found scrape marks somewhere. This is keep in mind this is just part of the conspiracy theory that I read that they found um, marks on the cover of the vehicle just to the left of where the president was sitting because he was sitting on the back of his Lincoln
Uh,
because it was a convertible,
it was a Continental.
and they found evidence that a bullet had scraped,
Skimmed.
skimmed, scraped the covering, the leather covering for the top,
Okay.
and they couldn't find the bullet.
Well, trying to find if it hit ground, like if it hit grass and ground and dirt and stuff, you ain't gonna find it unless you have a metal detector. If it hit pavement, I mean, you'd be lucky if it stayed in one piece.
Yeah.
But some of the ones that really get me, that is like, are you
Drinking some sort of
are
special
you
stupid Kool-Aid?
yeah, is I will agree with you. The flat Earth theory is one of those ones. It doesn't make any sense. Well, once you so we're pretty much all the rest of the planets in our solar system are spheres, and they all believe that our planet, somehow, Earth is so speckled that we are the only one to be flat. Y'all make no sense with that. You want to go ahead and figure you want me to prove that uh the earth is round is very, very simple. Climb a mountain and look across the horizon. Once you get up to a spot where you can see forever, look over the horizon. Guess what? Everything goes down at an angle and then disappears. Now, take a basketball, put it right up at eye level, right in front of your eye. It goes down and then it disappears. Ta da!
Yeah.
Science solved. Mystery solved. Theory debunked.
And I mean, even Bill Nye hops on this.
Well, Bill Nye's great.
Yeah, because I mean, growing up, he had Bill Nye the Science Guy. And now
Freaking awesome.
And now he has
Bill Nye saves the world.
And it's geared towards those
adults
people in our generation
because he cusses.
He talks about sex on that damn show. It's great, but the thing is like even he is like, really, guys. As much as I talked about the Earth and science and this and that and the other, and you still want to try to say the Earth is flat? No.
Well, Bill Nye is also a scientist, so he's going to have very, very hardcore evidence and a huge opinion.
Huge
opinion on it. And I would I don't know. It's one of those things like are you guys like
drinking your own bathwater?
Well, that's the thing. Like I can't tell. Like are y'all being serious or is this a prank? Am I on a TV show?
Pretty much.
Because this can't be. This can't be.
Oh, another going on to another stupid conspiracy theory. Dragons existed, but dinosaurs didn't. Dinosaurs weren't discovered. We knew dragons existed back in some president's day, but dinosaurs weren't discovered, quote unquote, discovered until after he died. So he never knew that dinosaurs existed. So we must have made dinosaurs up. But dragons existed.
What?
Basically, somebody is going around saying that dragons existed, but dinosaurs didn't, and that we're trying to hide the fact that the mythical creatures existed by saying that they were only dinosaurs.
I mean, I believe that dinosaurs existed. I used to want to be an archaeologist and a paleontologist back when I was younger, and then I wanted to be an architect, and now I'm doing this. Um, but I also fully agree that, or fully think that dragons existed and unicorns exist. Well, dragons exist, unicorns existed. You know, fairies and no gnomes and pixies
Goblins,
and goblins and
all the mythical stuff.
I believe all that stuff is around. We just don't see it, or we're trained not to see it, or we're trained that if you see something that you can't understand, either A, it didn't happen, or B, you're crazy. I completely agree with that.
It's like
I believe, yeah, I believe that all that is real.
Human conditioning and evolution states that if you uh, that things adapt to their environment and adapt to their surroundings and the thought processes of others and all that stuff. So basically, if it's pounded into your head that that stuff didn't exist,
Yeah,
you're not going to see it.
because like if you go off with like just religion, right? We'll take Christianity because I know it the best. I know it better than all the other branches. Uh you take Christianity for example. They sit there. You get taught as a kid. If I could talk, it sound a whole lot better. You get taught as a kid that Adam and Eve were the first people on the planet. Cool. They lived in the Garden of Eden. Cool. They had two kids. Cool. One of the kids died because the other one murdered him. Cool. The kid who murdered the other one, Cain, who murdered Abel, went off after being banished from the garden. Awesome. I am still following you. He found a woman and married her. Hold up. Hold up.
We are all products of incest according to Christianity.
Well, no. Here's my thing. If Adam and Eve were the first people on this planet, right? And they had two kids and they were the first children on this planet, right? How did Cain find a wife?
Aliens.
No, like how did Cain find a wife? If Adam and Eve were the only people who are on the planet, where did Cain's wife come from?
Yeah.
So
that's another one of those conspiracy theories.
But it's not even a conspiracy theory, it's just a thought. And I mean, depending on who you talk to, it can be heretical. Sorry to those people. Not sorry. But no, it's like we're as a race, we are taught certain things, and then we are taught not to question those things.
But when you become an adult and you're just sitting here, or even as a teenager, or even as a kid, some kids think about this.
I thought about it.
Our oldest is like, okay, you want me to believe in a magical being that comes from above that controls our lives and guides us and
mechanically doesn't control our lives.
Man, but you don't want me to believe in scientific. Yeah, you don't make sense. Like our oldest has questioned religion since he was little.
Yeah.
Like he believes in a God, or he believes in God, but he doesn't believe that
He believes that there's something out there.
Yes.
He just doesn't know what, and he wants solid evidence of it. He's agnostic.
He is definitely a science-based kid.
But no, and you know, I love him anyways. He doesn't believe what I believe, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to sit there and. That sounds like it's time for a crusade. Where's my holy knight armor? No, I'm kidding. But I thought about this stuff since I was young. Like when I was younger, I thought I'd found the original resting place of the Garden of Eden. I've looked into some of the stories and some of the parables and some of the what we're taught as young adults in a Christian household.
And I mean, see, and we were always taught growing up, and correct me if I'm wrong on your side, that the Bible is the Word of God, and it is complete. There is nothing, there you should not question anything to do with the Bible.
Yep.
Okay, one of the things that I've looked into and looked at since I was younger is some of the transition points from one story to the next don't make sense because it's like chunks are missing. And now like there's this huge thing about there's 9 books of the Bible missing that talks about those things like the
Oh no,
giants, the mystical beings.
there's actually a set of books that at least theory states that there are a set of books that talk about the angels,
And dragons.
but because it doesn't fit.
It's not fluid with the rest of Christianity.
Well, no, the fact that it doesn't fit in or it doesn't pull anything toward the wonder and greatness that is God. Um, that they chose not to include those books when they first had the meeting way back, in Constantine's days to get the books of the Bible that have been there for generation after generation after generation there. Everything from the Old Testament to the New Testament. That there was a meeting between clergy people that determined what books were going to be included in the Bible and which ones were not. And there were several that were kicked out. But it's like,
it all wraps into those conspiracy theories, the religious conspiracy theories,
yeah,
because it's just like
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there are scientific, like there are everyday conspiracy theories, and then there are like religious conspiracy theories. It's like anything that could have a theory does have a theory.
and some of them are so far out there that you look at it and you feel like you're reading Greek and you only speak English.
Makes me feel some
You
of
don't
these.
understand where the hell they came up with
Yeah,
this stuff.
some of them, some conspiracy theories. I sit there and I'm like, huh, that does bring up a good question. Other ones, I'm like, I'm gonna think brain cells.
Like there was a show, and I don't know if you remember it. It's conspiracy theories of the North, and then they
I
had conspiracy theories of the South. I don't know if that was the name for it, but it was something to do with conspiracy theories. And it went through different countries and talked about their most prevalent conspiracy theories, whether it's religious, political, all that junk.
eh.
And um, one of them actually talked about different religious conspiracy theories, and there was one specifically that dealt with the way Christianity was, and it was actually put out there by the head of the Scientology church.
Of course, Tom Cruise.
Like it's like you read some of these conspiracy theories, and you're just sitting there like,
Really?
why did I just waste 10 minutes of my life reading the half of the article that I got through before I had to stop and go get something to deal with the mind melting words that were coming off the page?
I wonder if there's a conspiracy theories about conspiracy theories.
Probably.
All the conspiracy theories come from one place.
Scientology.
No, we're not gonna go there.
And I have nothing against Church of Scientology. Like they have their beliefs, Christianity has their beliefs, Buddhists have their beliefs. Like everybody has their own beliefs, and that's what makes
Us who we are.
makes us the melting pot we are. And you have the right to your own religion. But like I said, with these conspiracy theories, you're just sitting there staring at some of these, and you're just like, wait, what? Like it goes from A to Q, and you don't know where the rest of the letters went.
A, B, C, D, F, Q, Y. What?
Like seriously, you get through some of these conspiracy theories, and you're left wondering, am I crazy, or is this person crazy, or did I just really read what I read? Them blaming. Um, let's go with a religious one. That you know, it may not be the correct sex of religion or whatever you want to call it.
Sect, not sex.
Well, it might not be the correct comparison.
Oh, that's different.
Like, say for instance, Scientology saying that one group of people sacrificed Jesus because they didn't like the way he looked instead of the Christianity.
I have
People
no
in
idea where
Christianity,
you're going right
uh,
now.
people in Christianity saying that he gave his life for our sins. Okay, that's the way we were all raised.
Well, that's the way the Christians were raised. Yeah.
Yes, but there's some people that say that no, that Jesus was sacrificed and murdered because he was speaking differently than others.
Well, I mean,
Yes and no, but
they're not wrong.
it's like there's some very outlandish conspiracy theories about
Jesus was a baby hippo, just taking the form of a man.
like seriously. Some are as dumb as that. Like that Jesus was an alien. That's my favorite.
I am playing about the baby hippo thing, but the alien thing does bring up something else, and that's all those urban legends that have been around for
Eons.
generation after generation after generation. I don't know why I suddenly went Scottish, Irish. I can't tell. I actually need to sit there and talk with somebody who has experience with those and see how close am I, because that happens kind of frequently. Um, but no, like we were talking about, dragons and pixies and goblins and all, skier gobblers, which is I love that uh Nordic Yule lad. I just love the name of it. It's skier gobbler. Um, aliens are one of those urban legends that everybody knows about alien. Like they could not have a TV, they could be living out in a shack, and yet they know a story about aliens that line up with something else. Like as a kid, I used to at night when we were driving around in the car think, play, have my imagination run wild of people jumping and diving into shadow to shadow to shadow to shadow. And I went ahead and I read something online the other day. Everybody else, I'm not the only one who did that as a kid. So it's like these urban legends, these urban myths are they permeate us as a whole and as a
As a human
society.
race.
Yeah. And it's like we have some from back home that are kind of twisted and all sorts of all jacked up, you know. But I'm not 100% sure some of them out here. Um, eh, I love urban legends. I love urban myths. I love anything that gets supernatural and slightly spoopy. I don't like the horror stories, but slightly spoopy is okay. So like one of the urban legends back home is um Pennsylvania has a gate of hell or at least they used to.
We do too.
Oh, um, yeah, ours actually they the legend behind it is a bridge that had been decommissioned and taken out, right? And they say that there's a section of land that the bridge pillar supports are still there. And if you walk, there are 7 of these sets of pillars, and they call each one a gate, and or 6 or something like that. And as you walk in between each one, you get there's screaming, it gets hotter, there's a bunch of stuff that happens, and if you go past the 6th one, you the legend says you disappear and never return. And people have even sent like RC cars with cameras on them through, and there's not been any sort of you know evidence of that have been put up online or anything, but they put like a GoPro or something where they can see real time video, and they say that the RC car, once it gets past the 6th one, everything goes black, the feed disconnects, and they can't recover their car, their little RC car. Now, here recently, they've actually torn down those pillar supports. I've never actually been there. I'm good with that. You can no, thank you. Nope, not doing it. Like I like supernatural stuff. Like I would love to go on a ghost hunt. I would love to do stuff like that. But that no, 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 no. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I am good.
And I mean, we kind of have a similar idea here. It's Riverdale Road up in Thornton, and it uh, at one point had a fairly significant mansion that used to sit just off the road. You know those private drives,
Right.
and a husband went crazy and murdered his wife and children and burned down the house
Oh,
with himself inside. And you see
because that's something that normal people do.
and you see him wandering the road at certain times of the year, whatever, probably near closer to the anniversary, and you only see him in a certain section, which the certain section in this certain section there you hear oil drums being beaten in the distance, and that
Oil drums.
yeah, it sounds like the old school oil drums, the big
Like the
ones.
55-gallon drums.
Yeah, it sounds like those, but it's a drum beat, and you can hear it's like a metallic drum. It's a really weird thing, but they say that in that area they found evidence of an underground chicken coop, but the evidence that they found there wasn't chickens; it was some sort of demonic presence, and that
Hold up, hold up. What? How can you say, oh yeah, it was a chicken coop, but it wasn't a chicken coop?
Yeah.
It was for demons.
Because some people say, "Oh, it's fake. It's a chicken coop." Yada yada yada. But why was it underground? For one.
I mean, he was crazy.
For two, they found no evidence of any chickens ever being in that coop.
And what did they find?
The investigators that have gone down and actually investigated the location where this supposed chicken coop was,
Right.
have found high levels of demonic activity.
Like what?
One guy had been possessed by a demon and tried to kill his whole crew. Um, One guy went down into this area and was never seen or heard from again. And when they went to during the day to investigate, okay, maybe he just got lost down in a tunnel or whatever, his footprints stop and then nothing.
Okay, that is interesting now.
And then like there's all sorts of stuff in that area. Like Riverdale Road is actually a very creepy road. And you come up to the crest of this little hill that kind of it's not even really a big hill, it's just like a slight incline and then it curves a little bit. And you every if you're going through there at night in a car, you slam on your brakes half the time because it looks like there's a shadowy figure in the middle of the road. Like it looks like there's a person in the middle of the road in dark clothing at night.
Beep beep.
And hey, yeah, there have been several people that have been hit on that road because people are like, "Oh, that's a shadow person." Nope, that was an actual person. Like it's a crazy area. And there was one time that uh, a friend of mine was going through there because we used to do stupid stuff, going to graveyards late at
Like
night.
going to graves. I mean,
Going into graveyards in
Okay.
the middle of the night,
Okay.
sneaking over the fences. There's fences around graveyards to keep people out, like they're dying to get in. That type of deal.
Ah.
But no, like we used to do stupid stuff like that all the time as teenagers. And she said one time, her and her then boyfriend, it was my friend Jolene that I used to get in trouble with all the time.
Okay.
And her boyfriend went driving through there, and he's actually still in jail for vehicular homicide because of this instance where he went to go around that corner, and they'd been through there several times and seen the same shadowy creature, same person covered in shadow, looking like they were there, and he'd slam on his brakes, and there was nothing there. And so he went driving through there and like plowed through this dude, like up and over the car, broke the windshield, and then he freaked out and drove away.
Okay, that's not cool.
Like, but if you've been there through there several times and there was a shadowy figure running towards your vehicle and then just disappears and you have fucked up dreams for the next like 6, 7 nights, and then you actually hit something, yeah, you're gonna freak out.
Okay. First off, if there's something shadowy coming toward my car while I'm driving, it either better get hit by my car or it can go fuck off.
And that's exactly what happened.
But
Except
I mean,
it wasn't a shadowy creature.
we also have we have something that's kind of similar ish, about a haunted section of there's a bridge back home. It's by Moonshine Church, and yes, that is the legitimate name for it. And the reason why they call it Moonshine Church is because the moon, when the moon comes up and it shines, it when the moon comes up, it shines on church. Well, there's a bridge about half a mile to a mile away from that church that legend states that a mom suffering from postpartum depression took her newly born child, her toddler, and her kid, knocked them out, tied them down, like weighted them down with like rocks and stuff, pushed them off the bridge, and then killed herself on the same bridge. And they say if you drive down that road at night and certain times during the year, as you start approaching the bridge, you'll actually see like 6 red lights, like red dots pop up above the bridge. And if you drive underneath it, your car just cuts off completely. Like nothing. You can't start it. You can't turn on a radio. Your lights won't turn on. None of that. And so you have to push your car back off the bridge. And the second when you push it back, the second your front wheels touch the pavement, um, your car will go ahead and start back up again. And those red dots will dance for a few seconds, almost like somebody's laughing, and then they disappear, and then you can drive your car normally. So it's once again, haven't done it. I don't mess with kids. I don't mess. I don't do any. I don't know. No, thank you. I do
Right.
not have. I don't. I don't do anything that has anything to say with like dead kids or spirits of kids because sometimes they're not kids and they're a little more
Demonic.
malicious.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
isn't there?
there's one. It's not really just Colorado. It's more of Hispanic culture, and I. Her nickname is the Lady in White.
Oh, the one that you don't say the name for,
No.
the Yorona.
Hey, you and your
I can't.
Spanglish.
I can't pronounce it. Lorona or
It's La Llorona.
there you go. See, you said it. Don't you feel? Don't you feel proud of yourself?
Yeah, because I'm not near a body of water. But no, it's like
No, but you're near a cup of coffee. Ooh.
I'm near two cups of coffee.
Ooh.
Woohoo! But no, like that legend says that she drowned her kids and she wanders the rivers and bodies of water at night looking for her children, and if she finds children alone, same fate happens to them. So, and if if you happen to, one of the experiences that I had was I used to take walks with my oldest when he was a toddler, and my middle son when he was a baby.
Baby.
Like I used to put him in the stroller and walk down near the creek behind our house. Like not really behind our house, but our house was on one side, then there was the alley, then there was the other row of houses, and then there was the creek.
A crick.
And so I would walk down that bike path with them, and when I
Buckle up, folks. It's about to get pooky.
when my then mother-in-law Faith, who has recently passed away,
God rest her soul.
she found out that that's the path that I was taking, and she's like, "Don't ever take them down that path again." And I was like, "Why? What do you mean?" And she told me the story about La Llorona, and I was like, "Okay, whatever." I wasn't raised with that urban legend. I didn't really care much for it. So me and my kid's dad were sitting in our room watching something, and he decided to go out for a cigarette, and then he came back down into the basement where our rooms were. And Matthias was asleep in his crib in our room, and Nathaniel was in his toddler bed in his room. Now it was getting pretty close to winter, so it was getting colder. So we covered the window with black trash bag to insulate it.
I mean,
to keep the breeze out.
You ghetto rigged it.
Yeah, we definitely ghetto rigged it.
I mean, we used to have to do the same thing when I was growing up.
Keep the little bit of a breeze out, and we hear Nathaniel scream. So of course, I hop up, and he'd woke Matthias up. So Phil, their dad, had picked up Matthias and was cradling him and followed me into the room. And we see Nathaniel dangling by his neck by this misty white hand about 3 feet above his bed. And when I said, "What the fuck?" he dropped.
Ooh.
And I freaked the fuck out, ripped him out of bed, yanked Matthias from Phil, bolted up the stairs, and woke everybody up, everybody else in the house up, which was Faith and Josh at the time. And I went outside, and I refused to go back inside that house until somebody came over and got rid of the bad juju, because ain't playing that game. And she goes, "What happened?" She asked me what happened, and I told her, and she's like, "Okay, kids' rooms are now upstairs." Like we switched rooms for the kids, and granted, Josh wasn't happy, but we switched rooms for Nathaniel, and nope, not playing that game. Like, yeah, no.
What always like baffles me, like people, a lot of people who anybody who listens to this, they may not believe you. They may not. They may say, "Oh, you were hallucinating," or
What were you drinking or smoking?
yeah, or something.
I
You
was
were dreaming.
breastfeeding, so I wasn't drinking or smoking nothing.
You were dreaming, or something like that, and that's all well and good. They don't believe that. And that's fine, you know. But you believe it. It wasn't until here recently that you would even to either tell that story, mention that entity, or even say the name. And it's I'd like to think it's partially, thanks to me that you're able to say it because I'm scarier.
No, it's because I'm nowhere near a body of water.
Oh, actually, I hate to break it to you. We are a street away from a man-made lake.
Man-made's different.
It's still a body of water.
But I mean, I don't know about you, but that's not the only pooky experience that I've had. One of the other things that is a huge kind of it's an urban legend with some truth to it, which is really kind of freaky. Because most urban legends are like,
oh, don't go over there.
Opinion based and all that.
Well, it's not even opinion based. I think most urban legends start by somebody telling us a spooky ghost story to fuck with somebody.
And that's the thing. And like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Cheeseman Park in Denver.
Nope.
It's pretty close to downtown. There's actually a picture of it. It's right near those big hotels that are in downtown. It has kind of like a Greek style building.
I have to drive. I have to try to see if I can't find it when I'm at work.
Cheeseman Park is built on an old burial ground.
Oh, wonderful!
And
I don't mess with burial grounds.
Yeah, they removed some or most of the graves and moved them, but there's legend that they didn't get them all because they're under where the street is.
Okay.
And one of the things that's happened, the thing that happened to me with Cheeseman Park is I was at a birthday party, and I didn't know nothing with Cheeseman Park being on a burial ground or nothing like that. I had to look up the name of the park because I wasn't 100% sure of it. But I was at a birthday party there. It was for my friend Letitia's Sweet 16. And so we had gone there.
Are we talking TT?
No, that's my friend Letitia Duran.
Anyways.
Like, we had gone there for her birthday party, had a little barbecue or whatever, and into the evening hours and started getting dark, and
well, obviously because it's evening,
like later evening, and so by the time we got everything cleaned up and started packing up the cars to leave, everybody's like, "Dude, do you see that?" And I turn around, and you could see ghosts wandering the freaking park. Like, you could see weird shit walking around the park, and this burial ground had a section for babies, had a section for pets.
Oh no, I'm good. I don't do Pet Cemetery either. No. Thank you, Stephen King.
Stephen King has some fucked up minds. And I said minds as in plural. But no, like, you could see all kinds of crazy shit. Babies crawling on the grass. Pets walking beside them. Like, it was and that's where I picked up there was a little girl that followed me home. I'm like, oh, hell no. And to this day, she still appears.
Well, that you believe.
Oh yeah.
So there's one more that I want to I want to talk about because I think this one's probably the most interesting or chilling or whatnot. Uh, what's the one about the people on the highway? You know what I'm talking about? The kid, the lady, and the old person.
Oh, um, if you
Well,
if you are
tell
driving,
tell 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 this tell the whole thing.
so basically you're driving down a road and
Now it's a highway.
well, a
Is
highway.
an older
He's
now is it an
an
older
older.
highway?
It's an older 2-lane highway.
Okay,
So one of those older ones,
and that's
smaller towns.
out here.
I'm not exactly sure where it's at, but I believe it's in Colorado, where you drive. You're driving, and late at night, and if you're pretty much the only car on the road at the time, you will come across you'll come across a lady who's looking for her child. If you don't stop for her, it said that you drive a little further down the road and you see a child. If you don't stop for the child and you continue on your journey and you drive and you'll see an older man who will force you to stop because he'll be in the middle of the road, in the middle of your lane, regardless of which way you're traveling.
Beep beep. That's my
And
thing.
and he looks they said he looks completely solid, completely real. So of course you stop, and because you didn't stop for the woman to help her find her child or stop for the child to help him find his mother, he kills you.
Just straight up like
Like anybody and everybody in your car, he will murder, and your bodies will be found in the field, but your car will be on the road still running.
uh
Yeah. And it's just like that one. I'm like, I don't know if I believe that because I haven't experienced going down that road. Because I mean, as a mom, I would be like, okay, I gotta stop this.
yeah.
I gotta stop for this kid. There's a kid wandering down the road in the middle of the night. I'm stopping for that child.
I
It's the mother in
call it the cynical asshole in me. But if I'm not stopping for a mom and I'm not stopping for a kid, I am certainly not stopping for some creepy old dude standing out in the middle of a highway. No, you're beep beep, I'm coming through. That damages my car, cool. If I have to explain why my car is all damaged and why there's somebody laying in the middle of the street, cool. I'm coming through. You shouldn't be wandering out in the middle of the street on a highway
in the middle of the night.
in the middle of the night in the dark clothing. No, you're getting your ass run over. Even if you're a spirit, cool. I'm just gonna go right through you and then okay, bye. If you're not a spirit, well, sorry, I'll pay for your medical bills. But that's pretty much about it. Like I'm not stopping. And there is a part of me that's like I'd stop and I'd roll down my window for the lady and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Especially if I saw her freaking out, or I'd like look at her and be like, "That's kind of weird." As I drove by, but the second I saw a kid on the street, like, "Yo, what are you doing?" Like, I'd stop for the kid.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I might not stop for the mom, but I would stop for the
You know, and I'd get out, I sit there and I talk with them, and then that kid just disappeared into the night. Goodbye. I'm praying to whoever I believe. I'd have my little holy symbols up, man. Like, oh no, 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 no. I'd flip on the spiritual freaking radio station. Be singing the pray. Singing whatever I had to. I don't care. I am nope, 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 and I'm gone. That's just me. It's like I'm not dealing with that.
one of the things that I'd like to take you to is at some point, maybe for an anniversary trip or whatnot, once this whole COVID shit is over, is to the Stanley Hotel.
I would love
maybe
to go.
stay in the Stephen King suite.
I would not do that. No, Nope. No. Oh no, you can call me a chicken all you want. No, I'm smart. I'm intelligent. No, you can go fornicate with Don Self. No.
If I go there, I'd at least like to take a tour of the
Oh,
state.
I would definitely go there and take a tour, and I definitely walk around and see all that stuff. See if
I'd
I
like to
couldn't
go
see
into the
anything.
Stephen King suite.
That's fine. I can do that too. I am not spending the night. No, I have seen one too many ghost stories.
Want to go to the Brown Palace?
I don't mind. I've
Stay in any of the rooms there?
I've driven past that place several times. Felt like somebody was watching me every single time I went past it. I will go there and I will explore and I will ghost hunt. I am not sleeping there. As long as I'm awake, nothing can get in. I don't care. The second I fall asleep, though, everything just kind of drops, goes bye bye. No, I am not sleeping there. We are not spending the night unless it's to ghost hunt, and then my ass is drinking a crap load of Venom and Monster and Red Bull and Rockstar and
Any
insert
other energy
Nas, insert any.
No-dos pills.
I will take all of those no-dos. Just I am not sleeping for the next 48 to 72 hours. You can kiss the whitest side of my ass. I am not sleeping at any place that's haunted. I've done that when I was a kid. Some of the houses I lived in were kind of fucked up and kind of pooky, and they were haunted as shit. And I remember having really bad experiences with one of the places that I lived in. And no, nope, no, absolutely not. Nope, no.
You won't even watch a scary movie.
I don't do scary movies. I was forced to sit there. I was made to watch it when I was a kid. The original Tim Curry version. No.
We all float down here.
I'm gonna float you down the toilet.
He's done that too.
No, flush. I'm still here. Flush. I'm still flush. Bleach. Gasoline. Lighter on fire. Flush. Oh, hey. We regret to inform you that your entire block has been quarantined. Why? Somebody lit a fire and flushed it down the toilet, and now the methane gas has exploded every house along your street for a quarter of a mile. Zach, it wouldn't stay down. So I made sure that it did not exist.
I don't even know if he'd watch The Stand.
I've started to read the book when I was younger before my mom found out that I was reading her copy and took it away from me, so I wasn't able to actually finish it. I have read several Stephen King books, Dark Tower being one of them, mainly because, well, Dark Tower isn't spooky. I mean, bits and pieces of it are, but
The Stand is great.
But I've read Dreamcatcher.
Have you seen Dreamcatcher?
I've seen Dreamcatcher. I don't like how they did it.
Have you seen The Mist?
I've seen The Mist. That one wasn't really spooky. That one was more like a
psychological.
Ooh, but
that one I believe could happen.
Oh yeah.
Nature coming back to kill us all.
Mother Nature is a bitch.
We love you.
Bring snow.
No.
But I've read Needful Things. I've read that book, which is a great book, part of the Castle
Pet
Rock.
Sematary is a great book.
Refuse to read that one.
Pet Sematary is a
Refuse to read that one.
But the movie is
Refuse to read that one. I refuse to have anything to do with Cujo. I refuse to have anything to do with it. I refuse to have anything to do with there's a couple other ones that I refuse. No, thank you. Nope, not doing it.
Yeah.
No.
It's crazy that.
Okay, I'm changing the subject now.
The new It is even more.
Changing the subject
Just
now.
so y'all are aware.
Changing the subject now. Let's talk about Thanksgiving. Yay! Right around the corner here in the United States.
Just a few days from now.
Yeah, change the subject. Woo! So Thanksgiving. Yeah. That's what we yep.
Traditions.
Well, I mean growing up as a kid back home, we'd have my grandparents, my nonna and poppy, God rest their souls, come down and visit, for Thanksgiving. My poppy would make his famous Poppy's rolls. Uh,
Which, ironically, I freakishly got the recipe without even like it was weird.
um, but they'd come down. My mom would get up at the ass crack of dawn on Thanksgiving, or even before that, oh dark 30, and start cooking all day. Start cooking the turkey, and then as it as it went ahead and started getting closer to like dinner, or when the turkey was done, she'd start making all the sides, like the mashed taters and the green bean casserole, her candied carrots, the stuffing, well, the dressing. The stuffing, we had two types. We had stuffing, which is the stuff that's actually inside the bird. And then we had dressing, which is the stuffing that's baked outside of the bird. You know, and then we would have cranberry sauce, and sometimes, somebody, if we had people, other relatives come over, they bring over like a I was actually the first when my one of my aunts brought over a sweet potato pie.
Martin Mary.
My aunt Sue actually. Um she brought that over, and that was the first time I had sweet potato pie, and I loved it. But they would do like a sweet potato they would do like sweet potatoes with marshmallows on it.
He doesn't do much.
Well, I do marshmallows, just not very frequently. I have to be in a very specific mood for it. Um, but then we do like what my parents called compote, which is like stuffing and actual cranberries and just a hodgepodge of different stuff inside mixed all together. And
We
then,
called that Thanksgiving casserole because that was the leftovers done the next day.
well, no, like these had legitimate like cranberries,
Yeah.
like dried cranberries,
Yeah.
craisins, I think they're
Yeah.
called. Um, and we would have like a full table, and then about 30 minutes before dinner was ready, mom would call the kid. All the kids would assemble. We'd make the main dining room table longer by putting the leaf into it. We get the kids table set up. We'd set the table. We get everything all ready. Put pot holders down and stuff like that. And then by that time, it was time for dinner. My mom would put the turkey out, put all, we would all help bring the food out to the table, and we'd say grace and eat. And then once we got done eating, once everybody had had their fill, we the adults would go ahead and retire. Well, most of the adults. My mom would say, um,
Supervising.
well, not really supervising, but instructing. But the most of the adults would go ahead and go out into the living room and flip on the TV, and they'd watch the football game that was going on, sports ball. Um, my mom would help us out a little bit, help us get everything put away, like the turkey put away, or finding containers for the stuffing and all the other food that we had, baked macaroni and cheese.
Speaking of which, we have to go buy Tupperware before Thursday.
Ah, but and then she would retire to the living room, and the kids would get all the dishes done up. And then once everything was done, then everybody could go into the living room and watch football, or have a conversation, or go about doing what they were doing before dinner got started. And that was pretty much our Thanksgiving. And the next couple of days, we were making like turkey sandwiches, or nah, no, no, or turkey salad sandwiches using my Poppy's rolls, or we'd wake up and we're like, hey, I want some stuffing for breakfast, and that's what we had, or whatever, and we feasted on Thanksgiving.
Is like a 5 day before the
It really is.
leftovers go bad.
It really is.
Eating fest.
But that was my Thanksgiving as a kid.
Like for me, it's kind of similar, but but a little bit different. My mom would always start the turkey right before she went to bed the night before, so around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And she'd bake low and slow, as she called it. She'd bake it at like 200, 250, barely heating, barely heated up, type of deal. And she'd cook it all night. And she'd always use the roaster bags so that she didn't have to go and baste the turkey every once in a while. Like she would do that and let it cook all night, and then when she woke up the next morning, it was like 75% done. So she'd start. I remember she'd have me help her slicing up apples to make apple pie, or mixing up stuff for pumpkin pie, making pie crust from scratch. Because my mom never bought store bought pie crust and shit like that. My mom was always been a phenomenal chef.
I mean,
And
there's a reason why she was a cook in the army.
I mean, yeah, but it's like she would be doing all of that, and I remember helping her because I was the only girl. I had to help my mom cook, and so I learned from a very young age how to do pie crust, how to do cookies, how to do that type of stuff. And we'd be preparing all the pies, get them in the oven, with the turkey on the bottom shelf, and you're putting the pie on the top shelf, turning the oven up, the whole 9 yards. And then by the time all the pies were done, the turkey would be just about ready, and she'd do this thing where she we the order we went in was the increase in temperature, where pies don't require as high a temperature as like green bean casserole and stuffing, like if you're baking the stuffing and stuff like that. So we'd go in order of temperature. So by the time the pies were done and sitting on the cooling rack, we'd turn around, throw the green bean casserole in, we'd throw the stuffing in, and stuff like that. And so that by the time all that was done, the turkey was done, and the turkey would have this really crispy, crunchy skin.
Oh, that's the best.
And
That is the best.
my mom used to laugh because we'd be going to sit down for Thanksgiving dinner, and my dad would go to carve the turkey, and half the skin would be gone. And my mom would look at me, I'd look at my mom, and we just started laughing because none of the boys ever were forced to help. None of the boys were ever asked to help.
So you guys got the perks of having the crispy skin before anybody else did.
We skinned the entire turkey and put it in Tupperware container, and then ate part of it. And then the next day we'd be munching on turkey skin. Like we'd hide it in specific Tupperware containers in certain locations in the fridge that nobody ever looked.
Butter containers.
Hence the reason I can hide stuff in our fridge and nobody will ever find it because, well, nobody ever looks in those locations. So if I had something that I want to keep for me, I usually hide it in a certain place. That all stemmed from tradition growing up with me and my mom hiding the turkey skin. We skinned the entire turkey, like legs, belly, back, the entire thing. And that was part of our, mine and my mom's tradition, that we ate the skin of the turkey. Only we did. And then my dad one year got really mad because we took all the skin off the turkey again. And he's like, "We're not carving this turkey because you took all the skin, and that's the best part, and that's the most flavor." And da, 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 da. And went on and on and on. And finally, my mom got so mad she went and got the container out of the fridge, dumped it in my dad's lap, and nobody had skin for that year. Like it, and I mean the cleanup was
there's one thing that I have learned never to do, and that's piss off the cook.
Yeah, but no, like one of the other things that when I was growing up that kind of differs from you is like my dad was always the 50s housewife type where he was like the women do the
Oh, so
cooking,
he was a housewife.
no, he
Oh,
was,
he had the mentality.
yeah, he was like women do the cooking and the cleaning, the men are supposed to work, which half the time growing up my dad never did. So yeah, but like
Men are
him
supposed to
and
work, but yet I'm gonna sit at home and while my
smoke
wife
and
works,
drink.
and I'm gonna get all the benefits of having a 50s household mentality, but without actually having to do the work for it.
Yeah, and it's like, so me and my mom were always the ones
I
cooking and
can't
cleaning.
stand those types of people.
Me and my mom were always cooking and cleaning. And when I was in 10th grade, and my mom was out of state, she was stationed somewhere out of state. We were living in Denver, and she was in the military the second time. And so
It fell to you.
it fell to me, and I was, even before then, I was 13, 14, 15, when my mom was whisked away to other locations, and I was always cooking and cleaning and stuff like that. And my dad would disappear for a day or two at a time sometimes, and I'd be like, "Well, shit, what am I supposed to cook? What am I supposed to, do this, that, and the other?" And it's just like it that that to me ended up being tradition, and that's one of those traditions that I've tried to break. Where we've started teaching our kids how to cook, and we make them do the bulk of the cleaning because they all need to know how to do that
Well, it's not that we
themselves.
make them; it's that they split up the chores.
Exactly. Like
You
when
know,
I was growing
chores.
up, my brothers never had chores. The only chores they had was the trash.
We all, when I was growing up, all of us had chores, including even when my younger, like when my younger two brothers got out of their toddler phase and got into their kid phase, like they started going to school and all that kind of stuff. They had to like do little things. They started off doing little things. Grab the bathroom trash, sweep the floors, the hardwood floors, run a vacuum cleaner, and like in like the living room where nothing needed to get moved, you
Yeah.
know. Whereas, and then me and my sister and my other brother, we were like, okay, we clean the bathroom, so like toilet, sink, tub, you
Doing the
know,
harder stuff.
yeah,
But
and that
I
was
would
us.
like from the age of 5 or 6, I remember only me doing chores.
Yeah.
Like I was always the one doing the cleaning. Like if my mom wasn't there, it was only me. And the only chore my brothers had was taking out the trash. And then when they were older, mowing the lawn.
Like
And then if they didn't do it, I got in trouble and I had to do it.
like I
So
remember growing up, like one of my outside chores was to mow the lawn, and then me and my brother would split the yard. I'd mow the back, and he'd mow the front, and then the next week, the next time we needed to mow, I would mow the front, and he would mow the back.
and that's the thing is like traditions are great to carry on.
Oh yeah,
But there are some traditions that are like,
that need to
okay,
die.
they need to die, they need to change. And that's why I've started teaching our children how to do certain things, how to cook certain things. And
How to
and
cook, clean,
they
do
enjoy it.
laundry. Well, Nathaniel enjoys it,
Haley enjoys cooking, so does Matthias. They all enjoy cooking, which is great.
which is a good thing because you gotta have
They
joy
don't
in it.
enjoy the cleanup
Yeah,
afterwards,
well, that's
but
something that you have to deal with.
that's something that all of us have to deal with because none of us really like cooking and then turning around and cleaning it all up.
Yeah, well, the problem that I have with how you do it is why clean something that you're gonna have to use in like 5 minutes. Like unless it's being like unless there's chance of cross contamination between using like a spoon, I'm not gonna sit there and wash that.
No, I specifically like if I'm cooking 3 different things, I have 3 different utensils,
Well, yeah,
and that
but
that saves that.
you like to clean while you cook.
I'll clean as I go. Yes.
I like to cook and then clean, and that's just the way that I am. Like I said, I don't see the point in cleaning something that I'm gonna
When
end
you're
up having to
raised by a
use.
military banquet chef, you clean as you go because you're cooking on a much more massive scale.
When you are raised by an Italian woman and her Italian mother, and you have the German in you that I do, the Pennsylvania Dutch, you don't cook small. You cook to feed a small army,
Yeah.
and you clean up afterwards because you're going to end up reusing some of those utensils for something else. So why bother? We will have to agree to disagree. and
That's
it
an
can
East
continue
Coast,
this.
West Coast thing.
Can
you know?
you can't even say that? You're from the East Coast.
Well, I'm not really from the East Coast. That's a different story.
You're from Russia. That's right. Sorry.
No.
Oh man, I think this is a good place to call it for this week.
Keep in mind, some
Well,
traditions are meant to be broken,
yep. You know,
and it is okay.
it's fine.
You can always start new traditions.
Yeah, as long as just got to remember to be nice, be kind,
Love each other.
love each other,
And
don't be a dick. I love how that has become our ending thing.
Yeah, seriously. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. We love y'all. We'll talk at you later. Bye.